a Christian right sort of movement. We want to take a look at this movement. It blends racial identity, religion, and political power as a movement to America. That's the idea. But can it lead to peace, or does it inherently sow more division? Don't condone it. So I am for free speech, even hate speech. It's protected under the Constitution. You shouldn't kill people over what they say. But respect our limits. Don't come on our show screaming and yelling and make me have to brainwash to believe that the Christians are right, that the whites are supreme, and that slavery's good, or slavery's, condoned by God. All sorts of, utter bullshit, in my opinion. It's dualistic bullshit.
Stuff that Charlie Kirk said, and Charlie Kirk was obviously a part of that white nationalism crap. You know what I mean? There's no way around it. The only type of black people he approved of were actually conservative.
That how can you say, these white supremacists give themselves away all the time. They say, oh, pick yourself up by the bootstraps and all that kind of stuff. But then, one of those ladies told me, we have a right to gatekeep because we're the ones that created the institutions, and if we don't want you in, then we don't want you in. So like, you're admitting that you don't want us in your neighborhoods. You're admitting that you don't want us in your schools. You're admitting that you want us to be segregated in this country, but yet you're saying you're not racist. No, we're not racist. We just don't really want you. We don't really want to know that you exist in this country.
But what you don't understand is, in the real world, sometimes you really are a victim. Actually, I was going to make a Charlie Kirk joke on that, but it might be a little too early for that.
They're hoarders, and what they do is like what Trump's doing right now, running this psyop on people, trying to sell this white supremacy, white nationalist as fantasy. Who do you think he's selling that to? He's selling that to the poor whites in rural areas, like out here. They have nothing. Like they have no good jobs. They have nothing, man. They're living like poor old bastards out here. You know what I'm saying? But no one talks about the poor whites. But this is who he's peddling that shit to. He's saying, oh yeah, if you vote for me, I'm gonna make it an all white America again, and you ain't gonna be these niggers and immigrants aren't gonna take your fucking jobs anymore. And he's pumping their heads up and making it seem like it's all another racist's fault or other people's fault, when in reality you're being exploited and robbed by your own fucking government.
Like, we can all fight for what's right, and we have to. That's the whole point.
You better let people complicate me. I meant to say,
yeah, that's what they doing. They complicate staying lifted. Because I'm sadistic.
No, you didn't say that shit.
Yeah,
your ass is crazy.
I'm twisted. That's why I'm staying lifted. I'm sadistic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think Jesus cut my live chat. All off. Fuck off.
Oh my God.
You two are fucking liars. You're liars. Fuck off. You didn't tell them the whole story. This show is so one-sided.
Just like he feels about Charlie Kirk, right? He feels that Charlie Kirk should be able to say whatever the hell he wanted to say, and he should not have been killed for it. And we agreed with that. But look at you acting like you ready to take my head off because I don't agree with you. Because I'm standing my ground on my opinion. Like, if this internet wasn't in between us, man, I don't know, man, what you would have done.
I defend myself because Scott be getting shit all messed up here.
Yeah, digging his ass.
What do you think, Objective?
Well, I think that's interesting. There's actually a few things I was thinking about while I was listening to you guys. In regards to this specific statement, when you start using vernacular like spirituality and spiritual wars and stuff, some of that language is lost on me, frankly, and I'm not completely discrediting it because I have no idea. I'm agnostic, so it's possible maybe there are these forces, and I will also admit, I don't know if I talked to you guys about this before. I know we talked about my past and stuff like that. I do think that every single human being has the same potentiality. We could all be a Jesus, type character. We could all be a Hitler type character. It's a matter of what do we choose to be.
Something about spirituality, because I use the word spiritual and I think I'm spiritual, but I don't know if that's that guy's stance or whatever. But to me, spirituality has nothing to do with woo-woo or some kind of outside force. Spirituality is just, you know, the underlying things, the things that are unseen that are happening. In other words, somebody may act out and act irate, but if you're like a deep seer, right, you don't really just see their behavior, their outward behavior. You see kind of what's going on with them psychologically. So whenever we're talking about the unseen things, we're really talking about a lot of times the psyche and what's really going on underneath it all. Or we're talking about metaphysics, you know, the subatomic realm that a lot of people, such as Orlando, who promote some woo-woo and mix it into like science and shit, those type of spiritualists, you know, they make the word look bad and they give it a bad name. And that's another reason I had to kind of call him out one time, because he interviewed this chick who says that she is a chosen alien from a different planet that was designated to come here to Earth and be a teacher and all that kind of stuff. You know, these self-proclaimed weirdos. And so I told him, you know, and some of those things, like even Albert Einstein called it spooky things because we don't fully understand it. But just because it's spooky doesn't mean it's
not real,
some kind of magic.
That doesn't mean you get to flap your arms and you get to fly. That's not what it means. It means there's perceived limitations within your humanity that you can transcend, you know, and that's a beautiful thing, and it's something we can all do.
In that case, I would say divinity is the sovereign true you. How about that? Because we're all out here influenced by ideologies, and we all think we're on the right side of history, and a lot of us are running on programs and what we've been taught. So getting to the true you, that I would say is divinity.
When they try to make you think that you have no way to transcend your perceived limitations, they want to impose those limitations, whether through killing you or through stopping you from being who you are, enslaving you mentally, physically, whatever. That's evil. What they're trying to do is keep you from realizing your divinity. They're trying to enslave you or put.
It's really important. This is exactly why it's really important to have conversations where we talk about the words that we're using and the definitions of the words that we're using, because when you have, you know, conversations and you use words that tend to carry a certain meaning, those words can make people hesitant or to engage because these words carry baggage, and that's unfortunate. But we have to have meaning to words, because otherwise communication would be impossible. Because, you know, so I've learned in the past that, you know, people, as soon as you start using certain words, people, because of all the baggage that these words carry, so much gets implied, you know, and then I have to, you know, so it's my own inability or ability to read the room and understand, okay, when this person says evil, they're not talking about Lucifer or the devil. And I really enjoy listening to the things you guys are saying, because you cause me to think in ways that a lot of other people don't. They just are so stuck in these ideas that are so formal and so traditional and so common. And you guys have this outside of the box type of view. And a lot of people who don't know philosophy have no idea what I'm talking about. But for people who are somewhat educated in this field, you know, that I think, therefore I am, from Descartes, that is really how Descartes got around solipsism. And that's all boils down to what's referred to as his cogito. And people who even use the word cogito, I don't think they really know what they're talking about, because theists will use that term and then claim that they have a way out of hard solipsism because of God, which doesn't even work. And the key to the cogito is about experiential reality. That's the whole reason we know that we can justify our intelligibility and our reasoning, is because of experience. And I talked before about the asymmetry of experience, because it's the experiential asymmetry that really gives you the best most solid foundation, focusing on, you know, what is going to be the benefit to the community. This is why I believe in objective ethics, and why I believe it's tied to evolution. Ultimately, is why I believe it's how I believe it's objective. It's tied to the natural law, like the Aristotelian virtue ethics and things of this nature. You know, we can look at, and
you know, and that dualistic teaching always never ends well. It seems like throughout history, all of these sort of religions and things of that nature always seem to lead to wars and persecutions and, you know, all kinds of agendas. Dualism: show love, show empathy. You're of the same conscious nature as other people. They have experiences like you. They feel pain. They feel love, joy. What do you want? What kind of world do you want to live in?
Trying to shield yourself from the experience and have everyone else go through suffering, but you yourself don't think that you should be going through any suffering. You know, it's like there are people on this planet who do not understand that suffering is a part of it. It's just part of life. There are people on this planet who say, I shouldn't have to go through that. I shouldn't have to experience that. So they delude themselves just like a narcissist does, and they create this false image of themselves. And anything that challenges that could possibly tear that down, they see that as an enemy, because the narcissist can't say, oh, I'm going to open the floodgates of trauma, because that means I have to deal with my trauma. That means I have to see my own shadow side. That means I have to look at the monster in the mirror. And there are people who are unable and unwilling to do that.
I think Sophia froze.
I think I just blew her head right off her shoulders.
Stupid shit, good shit, great shit, in between shit.
But life in general is that we're starting with the conclusion and we're working backwards from there. It's the sharpshooter fallacy, right? We're just shooting at everything, and we're just pulling out what we like, what we think is. We just draw a target around. Yeah, exactly. Draw that circle around whatever happens. And look, I hit all the bullseyes, you know. And so,
man,
and all the different laws of physics can really give us a grounding that we should take advantage of to say, okay, now what are we seeing and experiencing in the quote unquote real world? And then what is happening in the transcendental world, which we can tap into philosophically. And so I think that when we marry those two things together, that's when we're really starting to figure out what truth is.